The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, and I am your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us today on this beautiful day right here in Houston, Texas, the fourth largest city in the United States, they say, and soon to be the third. I'd like to remind you each and every show to go to stewart.com/radio. That's right, because you can not only hear the show, but you can also see it as we make a YouTube video of the show each and every week. So let's get down to business as we welcome Tracy Henderson. She is with the Realty Partnership. Hey, Tracy, welcome to the show. And let's tell people, your company is called the Realty Partnership. Let's tell people about the company.
Well, the Realty Partnership is a boutique brokerage, and we have been serving our community for collectively over 30 years. And so we've been very passionate about engaging and connecting and leading and guiding our clients, and also being informed in our community and being an advocate as well as our ambassador of this wonderful city, Greater Houston.
Well, give us an idea. First of all, from a geographic standpoint, are you focusing on any areas geographically in particular?
So our agent partners range from the Heights down to the South Bay area of Greater Houston and Galveston County.
And right now, and that's of course a big swatch here of this big the big Houston complex.
Yes.
But give people an idea, just overall, everybody always wants to know, hey, how's the market?
The data that I actually saw as we closed business on the weekend, Greater Houston, where the median price is down by 1%. We got a report closing September, and inventory is up by 7%. So that is optimistic news for our sellers and our buyers.
Well, certainly if you're a buyer, it's nice to have some selection and some inventory right now to choose from. So that's a great thing. Correct. Because that's changed from a little while ago.
Correct. And it's wonderful to know that, we are students of our market, and so we help our clients and our neighbors navigate the information that's coming through, so they also they know the facts instead of some of the sound bites that are coming through our media.
And one of the other things I did not mention is, in addition to being a real estate agent, you are a real estate broker.
I am.
In fact, leading a team. Let's tell people about that.
Well, we, again, lead a team in the Greater Houston area, but in addition to leading our team, we also are advocates for our community, our realtors. I chair a breakfast networking group, and I am the federal political coordinator for our Congressional District 14, and our realtor champion, Congressman Randy Weber. So there's a lot of things, a lot of opportunities. So not only leading our brokerage and equipping them to navigate and guide our clients, but we are advocates in our community as well.
Well, give us an idea, as a leader, a realtor, and so forth. You're doing a lot of things already,
yes,
right? So
yes.
How do you stay organized? Give us an organizational piece of advice, if you would, because I have a feeling, I've only known you about 10 minutes, but
right.
I have a feeling you're pretty organized. Give us a word on that.
I've learned to be very protective of time blocking. So time blocking is critical, and also having systems in place that help with navigating. Once you have a great system in place, you can focus on the relationship more so than the transaction itself. So
systems and procedures.
And partnerships.
That's right.
Partnerships, industry pros that help us through the process as well.
Where is the office for your company? Do you have a main office?
We do not have a brick and mortar right now. We are virtual. We are literally in our offices from our home, from that community where we're working.
Interesting you say that. The last couple shows, we've had at least 3 companies now, and that's their model right now, where they don't have the brick and mortar. In fact, in some ways, you're more nimble in a way to serve the marketplace.
That's exactly right. And with the downturn, with some of the challenges of the commercial sector, it's been wiser for us to just stay virtual. And once we have a need, when when we're in that growth stage, then we will entertain that. But right now, we're perfectly content.
As far as social media, I mean, that's so important. We hear people talk about that all the time. What are some of the things that you recommend to your agents in terms of social media? What are some of the things you tell them about? And it's always changing. What's the latest on that in your world?
Well, obviously, what's trending is video. So it's important to get our face to where our community trusts us, knowing that we're the industry experts, or at least we can partner with experts and provide that information. Social media is critical to me. Also, just getting face-to-face time with our clients. That's important as well. And I say clients, communities, but that also includes our realtor community, because I have a heart and a passion for not only our neighbors, but our realtors.
Well, that's right. As far as going back to the social media platforms,
Okay.
like even on our show right here,
Yes.
we use the YouTube platform for the
Yes.
complete show. And then on Facebook, we put the standalone segments, like this will be on Facebook. But people talk about Instagram and TikTok and these things. What about these other two, Instagram and TikTok? Do you use those?
We don't TikTok, but we do have a Instagram channel as well as YouTube.
And you find that helpful?
We find it very helpful because it allows us to also put that information that is somewhat repeated to our client base. And so that way, if they don't remember a certain thing, they can go back to our library and get that information so they understand the process.
We're talking with Tracy Henderson with the Realty Partnership. Tracy, when you began in real estate, I'm going to guess you were first a real estate agent, right?
I was.
And at some point you said, hey, I want to be a broker. Give us an idea. What was the motivation where you said, I want to take more classes, have more responsibility?
It was the leaders that, were around me and inspired me and challenged me. And so that I took the challenge, and I had a game plan and met that game plan and decided that I wanted to share my passion not only for our community as an ambassador, but also advocate for our neighbors, advocate for our clients, and advocate going back to our realtor community.
As far as this point in time, now certainly through the years, and we hear about this all the time, as far as the people that are coming to Houston, right?
Yes.
We've been hearing a lot of people, always from California, many from California. We heard the other week people coming from Oregon. Are you helping?
Welcome.
Yeah, if you're listening, hey, we're glad you're here.
We are.
And we're glad you're listening. But give us an idea of what you're seeing as far. Are you still seeing people coming from out of state, and are you serving those people?
We are seeing them coming out from out of state, and we are gladly serving them. It's important, especially those coming into the area, understanding what's going to be a good fit for them in the community. Where do they want to plant their roots? And so understanding the market, helping them to set expectations with the information that we gather for them helps. And so we're excited to play a part of that next chapter for them, as well as those that, we don't want to see move, but they have to pull up roots and move elsewhere. So we have great referral partners that we help them with.
Where do you see them coming from other than California? We know they're definitely coming from there.
Carolinas.
The Carolinas. Mm-hmm. I've not heard that one yet.
Yeah.
The other week we heard Florida. But anyway, give us an idea, as you are right here, and we are all here at the end of the year, coming close to Christmas, New Year, all that.
Last quarter.
Yeah, last quarter. So how are you forecasting, or what's your speculation on the new year, 2024, and what are you all preparing for at your company?
So our speculation is based on facts from our experts, our economists, our partners. And so being very optimistic about the new year and continuing with our game plan. It was maybe a little slight delay in some of the goals that we had set going into this year, but we're resuming that and looking forward to, we're in the business for the long haul, and it's a very passionate opportunity for us. So we're very excited about 2024. This past weekend, we've had some challenges that may, tomorrow open the market and have us a little bit unnerved. However, if we understand that the market kind of levels and we keep giving the information from our pros, that, like our economists, NAR economists, and the data that's available, and keeping everyone calm and providing the facts, I think that just helps us move into the new year very optimistically.
We hear a lot about interest rates these days. How often, let's say, think about the last 20 transactions that were a part of or oversaw. How many of those 20 were cash deals?
About 20%.
Because I read an article recently about, as we think about the interest rates and we get maybe sidetracked or focused too much on it, there's a lot of people buying real estate with cash.
And they don't care.
And in fact, it's an advantage.
Correct.
Number two, there's a lot of people, again, taking California, maybe the Northeast, that come from these other areas where the price of homes are so high that when they get here, I got the cash.
Yes,
So that's a big part of the market, and it's one that realtors like yourself are there to serve and to help along the way.
And help, again, advise them in setting expectations, realistic expectations, making sure that, they're not relinquishing a lot of their contingencies, and, the market, not so much. We've had multiple offers on a couple of our deals, not anything like we've had in a couple of years ago, but they're still there. And so we've had to make sure that, we're representing both sides and giving them the information they need to make wise decisions.
Talking with Tracy Henderson. Tracy, before we close this segment, what do you want people to know?
Well, I want to put the word out there. Elections coming up in November, and there are multiple propositions on the ballot, and it's so important as realtors that we get out and advise our community as ourselves on those propositions, because it's like lowering taxes. There's a lot of issues that benefit real estate. And if they want to know more, they can reach me.
And how can people reach you?
They can call 832-221-8128. 832-221-8128.
Tracy, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's welcome Samantha Merritt. She has a couple things she does in the real estate world. We're going to find out right now. Hey, Samantha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, you've been on the show, but it's been so many years. In fact, as we talked on the phone, I looked to see when it was, and for some reason I lost that show.
It was about 7 years ago. It was one of my best performances. We'll have to find it.
Well, we're going to have to top that today because I can't find the show. We have all the shows archived. However, there's a few that are lost, and in fact, as we approach show number 500, our very first show is lost. I don't know what happened.
Just makes it more viable.
Absolutely. So first of all, you are Samantha Merritt, and you've been in the real estate world for quite a while. Let's tell people about the two companies right now that you're working with.
Yeah. I started in real estate in 2011, and I was primarily working with investors and builders. And then a few years ago, I started doing evaluations, property evaluations, very similar to an appraisal, but a little different.
Well, let's give people an idea. That sounds interesting, property evaluations, because just in the whole topic of people, we all want to know, what can I get for my house? What's my house worth? And then there's other entities that have opinions, the taxing and so forth. So True Valuations is the name of the company.
And we do evaluations under an MIA certified appraiser. So we have, hierarchies.
So appraisers go out.
No, appraisers don't go out. We work together. We collaborate with our MIA appraiser. Basically, the short difference between an appraisal and an evaluation is the compliancy. And an individual would not order an evaluation. A bank would order an evaluation.
That's who calls you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, those are our clients. Are banks and credit unions.
So the bank calls up True Valuations.
And what they're looking for, it's usually a pretty secure loan that they're doing it on, or for maybe if it's a new purchase, or if they are maybe assessing their own assets and want to see what they're going to close out with at the end of the month, the year, the quarter, that type of thing, then they'll do an evaluation opposed to an appraisal. It's a little bit more cost effective for them. We are not held to the same USAP requirements and all that, but we are still held to the same FIRA regulatory commissions.
So then right now for your company, how's the business going?
It's good. It's good. I mean, we have a pretty established company, so we're okay. And it's nationwide, and I focus on commercial properties. So it's a little bit different. I mean, with a lot that's going on with the switchover, with a lot of interest rates for commercial properties, and they're not really as emotionally bound to it as residential properties. You see investors and banks wanting to know the value of their property pretty frequently. So it's a good time to be in that since
Well, do you have a feel, as we think about there's a relationship between residential real estate and commercial, of course, do you have a feel for the market right now in the commercial area?
As far as sales go, I think that it's obviously a buyer's market. It's a little bit slower, and we're not seeing nearly as much activity as we did this time last year, that's for sure, with regard to sales. But with regard to what I do with evaluations and people wanting to assess the value of their property, it's still very busy because people still need to know that. Especially with changes, maybe changing up their loans, their interest rates, or maybe getting rid of the property entirely because it's not as income producing as it was.
Well, so it makes me think about, as we think again in terms of preparing and going forth, from your perspective and True Valuations perspective, what are y'all looking at and projecting, say, for next year?
We have a very optimistic outlook for the next year. I would say that probably around the end of Q2, I think things will pick up even more for us, but we do anticipate a little bit slower season through the holidays here in the beginning of next year.
Well, a lot of people say that, but it's always interesting. I think that when the weather gets cooler, people get more active, and my theoretically, they might be out there looking at real estate, maybe even from the commercial realm. But when we think about commercial versus residential, and you alluded to this, we always say that residential is more emotional.
I do, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you see that?
Absolutely.
Versus the commercial person or company that's buying or looking at leasing, it's a little more cut and dry.
They're looking at the net, the cost to them, or the income, rather.
Right. So it's really like that.
It's really like
right,
that.
so you're here
it
to
is
tell us
absolutely,
that.
and hopefully less tears at the
Because we've
closing
been
days
wondering.
of the commercial. No, it's really like that. I
wondering.
mean, you have people that treat it as a business, and so the emotional attack. They're not living in it. It's not their homestead.
So anyway, well, here you are with the True Evaluations. Things are in progress there in the commercial end. As far as what you're doing in real estate, now you're also working real estate, right?
I am. I just started back up doing it again. Real estate is always so exciting. Residential real estate in Houston in particular, I think, is fascinating.
So you're ready for some emotion.
I am. I took a break for a little bit, but I like the excitement. I want to go back. So I've gone back. I reactivated my license a few weeks ago, and I signed on with Gold Mount Real Estate Group, and I love these guys, and I'm happy to be back in it.
Well, give us an idea a little bit about the company, Gold Mount Realty.
It's a relatively younger company in comparison to a lot of brokerages that are here in Houston, and I've certainly worked with a lot of them from a listing agent from my past. But I decided to go with them because of the innovation in technology, the relationship that they provide to buyers and sellers. I worked with them on a couple transactions, and I just really, really liked their level of professionalism and the agents that were on their team and just the general feel. Like it felt really good to do a transaction with them.
So as we think again about your approach to real estate, especially it's kind of interesting because whatever career we're in, sometimes we'll take a side trip, do something else, and then we'll come back to something or explore it further. How are you preparing now that you're back into the real estate world? How are you preparing to be able to address the market as it is now? And what have you done to be able to go out there and say, hey, here it is the last quarter, we're 2024. What kind of thing? Because it's different now than whenever you did it last.
Well, the information's different, but I don't think the process is that different. It's really about educating myself, educating my clients, and, as Har always says, be the source of the source, not the source, to be able to provide that information to your buyers or sellers.
Will you be focusing on a certain area of the
Yes,
Houston area, or how's that going to work?
With age, you get to kind of pick a little bit, right? No, so I'll stay inside the loop. That's the area that I feel most comfortable in, and that's my area of expertise. For the past 6-7 years before leaving, I was working in new construction and with builders, basically. So I do want to still focus on that because of just my knowledge base.
As we think about inside the loop, in fact, that's where we're recording this show. We are inside the loop. Technically, give us an idea what's going on inside the loop, because inside you got River Oaks, you got the Heights, you got all sorts of different. So there's all sorts of things going on. What's the feel right now?
No, I think you caught me misspeaking a little bit because I say inside the loop and I mean North Loop. I mean that there's so much new construction going on in the Garden Oaks and in the Oak Forest and even farther north, and that's probably where I focus a little bit more on.
Garden Oaks. Mm-hmm. So I hear a lot about Garden Oaks. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot. That's an area, correct me if I'm wrong, where they're taking old homes down and putting the new $1 million, $800,000 or so homes, right?
Yes. In fact, I have a couple rental properties in Garden Oaks myself, and I live in Oak Forest.
So then you are doing, like a lot of real estate professionals, you're also investing.
Of course, yes, absolutely. You've got to
say,
put
"Of
your
course,
money
I'm
where
not
you
investing
got
in
to
it."
put your money where your mouth is. No, but there's good opportunities that come across your plate, and it just makes sense.
So, and that's a good thing. As a realtor, you're able to find those opportunities maybe quicker than some other people.
Yep.
So let's take that idea there, Samantha. We're talking with Samantha Merritt. As you look, let's say, to buy a property, we've seen all the TV shows about flipping and stuff like that, but is this a good time, do you think, to buy a property to turn around and sell it? Not to rent it, but to turn around and sell it and make a profit. How does that work?
It's a case-by-case situation, to be honest with you. I mean, it always depends on what you can purchase it for, period. If the numbers make sense, because then you figure out the ARV and you go through the whole process. And also it depends on your skill set and understanding and what subs you have. I mean, if you're going to flip a property, if you have a crew of people that you can rely and
like
trust,
a contractor?
exactly, like
Right.
all of them, yeah. Then
Easier said than done.
right, exactly. So it's a case by case situation with each person and with each property, and that's something I help my clients assess.
But also for yourself.
Well, always for myself.
You'll see something you might see. You may leave here today and find a property that you say, hey, here we go.
God willing.
So, okay, Samantha, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, if you'd like to get in touch with me and then talk a little bit more about the different opportunities in Houston, I am always here, always ready to talk about it. You can reach me at 832-610-3841. 832-610-3841.
Samantha Merritt. Samantha, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Let's talk to Tina Argueta. She is with Keller Williams Professionals. Tina, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you today.
Well, let's tell people, you're with Keller Williams. So let's tell people about this Keller Williams office because there are so many, Tina, right here in Houston.
Correct. We have so many offices around the Houston area. We are one of the largest companies. We're also in 5 continents.
That's right. Worldwide company, Keller Williams, right?
Correct. Yes.
Well, where is your office at for Keller
My
Williams?
office is located in the Spring area. It is in the Spring Cypress, close to the 249.
So let's say somebody is not from Houston. They're listening from Pennsylvania or somewhere else, or maybe around the world at another Keller Williams office. Let's tell people Spring is what part of Houston? If we were looking at Houston, what part of Houston is that?
Spring is in the north of Houston. It's in the north side of Houston, located on the west side.
Northwest.
Northwest, correct.
So, and is that where you do most of your real estate, or do you cover another area of town?
I cover the north, east, and west. I specialize in Spring and Magnolia, Conroe, Tomball. That's my area of expertise.
And in fact, so many areas, we could say even Clear Lake is very busy right now, but the areas you're mentioning, they are really exploding, right?
Correct. Yes, it is growing a lot. We have a lot new subdivisions in that area, great schools. It's a great community to move in.
Well, also, let's talk about a little bit about new construction. Now, I would think, or I generally think, maybe it's wrong or right, but I think in the outer areas of Tomball, Magnolia, is there more new construction out there, say, than maybe right here? Do you see a lot of builders out there?
I do see a lot of new builders there. We do have a lot of options especially for first-time buyers. We have an extensive options of builders that we can work with.
And then, of course, there's other properties that are on the market that are been around for a while. As far as inventory, again, let's take Tomball and Magnolia area just for a second. As far as inventory, do you see a lot of inventory right now available for buyers there?
We do. We do have a lot of inventory available right now. It is a great time for buyers to move to the Northwest area and establish there. There's many opportunities in that area.
Now, you have been in real estate for a couple years now, right? So you haven't been around for 10 years or so, but give people an idea, because it's always interesting. Everybody has a different background, but prior to real estate, what was your profession?
My profession was the banking industry.
So there you go, from banking to real estate.
Correct.
And what was the motivation?
The motivation, first of all, it was myself. Like I was looking into buying my first home, my first property. And while I was doing that, working with another real estate agent, I really loved the industry. I got so into looking into that. I was asking so many questions to this agent, and I was like, you know what? I want to get into real estate and be able to help other families just the way she's helping me.
Now, I must ask, as I think about the different, certainly we have a real estate show here on the radio and internet and so forth, but as far as the TV shows that are out there, renovations and HGTV and flipping home shows and things like that, did TV have anything to do with your entrance into real estate?
No, not really. Not the TV.
Interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so here you are. You're in real estate now, and is it what you expected here in the first couple years of practicing real estate as you were inspired to come forth?
It is. It is what I was expecting. It is what I was looking for. It's not easy, but it is possible. And that's what we're here as experts in the industry. We're here to help other agents and families to be able to achieve their dream.
Because one of the reasons I mentioned the TV shows is that sometimes if you see the shows, they make real estate look easy.
Yes.
And it's anything but that, right? I mean, there's a lot of components to it, Tina.
Exactly. It is not an easy job. It's not an easy industry, but it is possible. When you have the tools, when you have the support, you can do great things in real estate.
Well, also, and let's talk about your broker, Keller Williams. It's a massive company, a massive entity in real estate worldwide, but one of the things they're noted for is having great education for their real estate professionals, whether they're new or they've been around for 20 years, right?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about some of those perks that you've enjoyed at Keller Williams.
Yes, definitely. They do offer great education. That's one of the main reasons why I choose Keller Williams. In my experience, I've been taking so many classes that they offer, and these classes are really helping me to grow and to understand this industry and to help my clients in the best way possible.
And as far as right now, as you're helping people, are you helping more buyers or sellers?
My first year, I was helping a lot of buyers. Now, my second year is turning different. I'm helping more sellers now.
Well, how did you give people, because a lot of people, real estate professionals and others, of course, listen to the show, but for the new real estate professionals out there, because there's people starting every day. We have a lot of people here in Houston, a lot of realtors. But what would you advise something that helped you when you first began, that first month, right? What would you tell someone that they should really be mindful of to where they can maybe get some traction?
Right. I will tell all the new agents in this industry to be persistent and also be patient. Those are the two main things that you need to be able to survive in real estate, because, again, it is not an easy industry. But if you are persistent, you will make it.
Because I would think, especially when you're starting, there's a lot of challenges, and certainly a lot of things that you're learning. But as you're working with a big broker like Keller Williams, you're getting a lot of help along the way with those first couple transactions, right?
Correct. Yes.
But having that persistence, that's a big deal, because you don't want to give up.
It is. You have to be persistent in this industry, because the first months are always hard, and you have to take those first months, take all the dedication that you can, and just be persistent. Keep pushing. Every day is a new day, and we have the opportunity to meet new buyers, new sellers. But you got to stay consistent in the things that you do. So
how long, when you first started, until you sold your first house to a buyer, let's say?
Oh, you really want to know?
Yeah, I do. Because it takes, so it could have been 2 months or 6 months.
It took me 8 months to get my first sale. Yes.
Now, there is a testament to being persistent, right?
Correct.
Because a lesser person would have said, hey, after the third month, I give up. No. But you didn't.
I didn't. I kept pushing every day. I was persistent until I had my first sale. And after the first one, it's every month, a new client is coming, and I'm closing more transactions every month after the 8 months.
It's like having a baby, right? Almost, but a month less. So just saying. Now, tell us about how you transitioned. How did getting the first listing happen?
My first listing. Well, my first transaction was a buyer.
Okay.
And my first transaction was a family member, actually.
Okay. Well, that's one of the first things you want to do. Hey, I'm in real estate, right?
Right. Yes. You want to let all your family and friends know. And yes, it was a family member who I hoped to buy their first home. After helping her, just the word spread out, and all my friends and relatives starting to reaching out to me and asking me for help.
And then what about that first listing? Was that also a family?
No, that was a referral from a close friend.
And so that felt good too, I guess, huh?
Yes.
So here you are.
really-
You're on a roll. Now, that was years ago when you began, but here you are now, a couple years, and now do you have even Steven as far as listings and buyers, or you're focusing on the sellers right now?
At this moment, I have more sellers. I'm focusing on the sellers. I'm focusing on getting new listings. And it's a little different from the buyers, but it's great. I love what I do so far.
So as far as what you prepare for here at the end of this year, as you're preparing for next year, what are some of the things that you're thinking about? Because you've learned a lot here as you last couple of years of real estate. You got your traction finally, buyers, sellers. How are you preparing, and what are you going to be doing different next year or adding to your skill set?
Okay, what I am adding to my skills is working with investors. I am taking more classes on the investors so I can prepare myself and be able to help my investors the best way I can.
And also, you're bilingual, right?
Correct. Yes, my first language is Spanish.
Well, that's awesome. So now you have an extra advantage than a lot of us, I would think.
Yes, it gives me an opportunity to help more people. I mean, not only in Spanish, but in English. And, I'm here and happy to help everyone.
Well, there you go. I'm wondering if any of your family members might be listening to the show. You think?
I think so. Yes.
Well, we're going to spread the word, right?
Yes, I will.
We're talking with Tina Argueta with Keller Williams Professionals. Tina, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I want people to know that this is a great time to invest, to buy or sell. If you're looking to invest, buy or sell, please give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you.
The number is?
832-860-5399. 832-860-5399.
One other thing I just thought about. As far as the first-time home buyers, right? You finding people that are, let's say they're renting right now, and they say, hey, I think I want to buy a home. You serving any of the first-time buyers now?
Yes, definitely. Actually, every month I am hosting a seminar for buyers. And in this seminar, I invite all of those people who I know they're renting. I invite them over so they can learn the process while they prepare to buy their first home.
Do you ever talk to someone that said, you might mention, hey, you ought to buy a home, and they said, well, I can't afford it. I never thought about it. You find someone that it's like a brand new idea for them?
Every day.
Every day?
Yes.
What's the first thing you tell them?
First thing I told them is just to take a look into real estate. Let me explain you a little bit about the process and introduce them to a mortgage lender.
Sounds awesome. Tina Argueta with Keller Williams Professional. One more time, the number is?
832-860-5399.
Thanks for being with us, Tina.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to be here.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is with Stewart Insurance, John Bramlett. John, welcome to the show.
Bill, always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, here we are today. Once again, everybody loves insurance, especially because you bring the segments each and every week. What should we talk about today?
Last week, we spent some time talking about how we can save some money. And the week before, we talked about growth. So this week, I thought we would maybe look a little bit about how we can, protect that growth that we've had and then allow us to take advantage of those savings by looking at how we can minimize risk and offset exposure.
Always a worthy cause.
Always a worthy cause. So just as a reminder to our audience, from a real estate perspective, risk is the probability of something bad will happen. So the chances of something bad happening. And then exposure would be, what is that monetary cost of that negative in occurring? So the risk is what's the probability of something bad's happening? What's the chance that something bad will happen? And then what's it going to cost us? That's the exposure. So think about from a risk, it could be data break-in. So somebody breaks into your computer system and access your data, or the risk could be the chance of an accident happening when you drive to work. The exposure would be, so if we use that same data break-in, that data compromise, that the funds are routed to a faulty account. So somebody's escrow money or down payment is routed to a faulty account, or you have to pay for the repairs of your vehicle or potentially the vehicle of somebody else. So again, that's just kind of an example of what we talk about when we look at risk and exposure. If we want to minimize the risk, what are the things that we can do, both as individuals and as companies, to make sure that we, minimize the chance of that something bad happening? So how can we lessen that probability of a negative event? So it could be things like as simple as leaving in plenty of time so you don't have to drive fast, or make sure that you're driving defensively, or maintain your routine home maintenance. So you take care of your house. From a business perspective, are we documenting all of our conversations to make sure that everybody's aware of what was decided and when it was decided and how it was decided? Making sure that we have business processes and procedures in place and that we follow them so that, if there is to be an issue, that we are covered and that we can show that we have documented and we have done everything that we should do from a professional perspective. When we look at offsetting those risks, how can we offset that exposure? How can we minimize that exposure? One, just make sure that we're properly insured, whether we're an individual, a family, or a real estate broker. Make sure that we're, properly insured. Do we have water damage coverage as part of our home policy? If we lease a home, do we have renter's insurance? If we have investment properties, are we making sure that our tenants have renter's insurance? Are we carrying the proper amount of automobile coverage? Have we seriously considered making sure that we have flood insurance? And then we carrying, if we're a real estate broker or a title agent or a lender or a property management firm, are we carrying business owners policy or general liability coverage? Do we have cyber insurance? Do we have the proper amount of errors and emissions coverage? So those are the things that we can think about from a ways to minimize the risk as ways to offset those risks.
And when you said just a few minutes ago about documentation, all of us in life, whatever our profession, documentation is a more important part than ever. But when it comes to the real estate professional, they must document to prevent problems, as you're describing, but also the thing that flashed in my mind as I'm thinking of the end of the year and thinking about taxes, documentation for your mileage and all the different things. People don't realize, I don't think, the real estate professional has so many things to keep track of, to do properly, to dot all the I's and cross the T's, in addition to being personable and exceeding expectations from a customer service standpoint and making sure people get and or sell the homes that they're working on at the time. So the real estate professional has a big responsibility in each and every transaction.
Well, absolutely. When we see, I think just as you said, just across the board, whether it be in our own lives, our own personal lives, or as you're in the insurance world, or if you're in the real estate world, when we get in trouble, when issues arise is because we did not communicate. You never get in trouble for over communicating. It's when somebody feels like that they have not been kept in the loop or made aware of what's going on is when you run into situations. And one of the ways that you can make sure that you do that is that when you do communicate, that you make sure that you document it. And I think you're exactly right. I mean, the real estate professionals have so many things that they need to take care of, and there are so many details that they have to deal with, both from their profession as well as their personal life. Because as you mentioned, most real estate professionals are independent business people. So you have to keep track of your business expenses, and you have to keep track of your mileage, so that you have all of those things available, and that you know what you need to file quarterly and what you need to file annually, and how you need to keep those records, and what will the IRS allow you to deduct and what it won't allow you to deduct. So you're exactly right, that ability to keep and document that information, and then have your own personal process, so that you know that whether it's every day or every week, you're making sure that all that information is recorded. I know that you keep detailed records for your personal business, and you've got a special place where you record that, so you know every day where you've invested and what's going to go into something that potentially that you could deduct from your taxes.
Exactly. At least I try, because it's overwhelming, all the things that go on in life. So that's great information, of course. So what are some of the other things we need to know?
Well, I think the other would be just if you truly want to be properly insured, just remember that all insurance is how much risk you're willing to take on as an individual or as a company versus how much risk you'd like to offset to the insurance company. And as long as you're comfortable with that decision, we feel like you're properly insured. So whether it's for your home insurance, wind, auto, flood, motorcycle, and investment properties, vacation home, we can help you work through that process to make sure that you're comfortable and that you minimize as much risk as possible, and you've been able to offset what you're comfortable with onto the insurance company. And the same goes if you're a independent title and attorney agency, if you're a property management firm, if you're a real estate broker, if you're a lender, we can help you the same way with both looking at ways to minimize risk, but also offset that exposure through being properly insured with things like general liability, errors and omissions coverage, cyber liability, workers' compensation, business owners plans.
And it's interesting, too, we want to remind people as we think about being properly insured, and I think you're the only organization in the insurance world that refers to being properly insured. There's a lot of catchphrases and things like that, I think, in the insurance world, but Stewart Insurance, innovators, and you sum it up so nicely by saying being properly insured, reminding people once again, as they listen here in Houston, they're driving around maybe at this time of broadcast, listening on the internet, they're thinking, yes, I want to call Stewart Insurance to find out how I can be properly insured, but reminding people once again, you're serving people all over the United States. So if someone's listening on the internet and they want to reach out to you, I don't know, South Carolina, Indiana, anywhere else here in the States, they can call you as well.
Absolutely. So we work with clients all over the U.S., both on their personal insurance as well as their business insurance. And they can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. If they'd like to learn more about us, they can study us online at stewartinsurance.com or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com. And if we happen to have insurance advisors that are listening to us that would love to work with a firm that truly has their clients' best needs in mind and that strives to be the insurance resource for real estate, give us a call, because we're always looking for outstanding insurance advisors to add to our team. And if you've got an interest, they can reach us at 866-798-2827 or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
This is the time of year to prepare, make adjustments, prepare for transitions, prepare for the new year coming up, 2024. It will be here before we know it. Once again, John, someone that wants to become an insurance agent at Stewart Insurance, or if they want to be properly insured, the number is
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Bill, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Well, I say it very often, and that is to stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer because they are here all around Houston, in fact, around the United States, helping real estate professionals every day. But right here in Houston, we have two of our business development people. First, we're going to talk to Martha Palmer. Hey, Martha, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. It's glad to be here.
You're glad to be here. Well, let's tell you, you're from Spring, Texas, right?
Correct.
Let's tell people about the Stewart office in Spring, Texas a little bit.
Our Stewart Title office in the Champions area is right off of Highway 249 in Cypresswood. And we have an incredible team of escrow officers ready to help you with a vast knowledge. And also in that office, I make sure I take care of my agents with classes every week, 2 or 3 classes a week, just to make sure they stay on top.
2 or 3 a week?
Yes, I know. I'm a glutton for punishment, but they love it. And there's so much to learn. But I have a really, really big event coming up for all of my commercial agents. And if you're a commercial agent out there, it's November 27th. Give me an email, give me a call. I'll get you on my list. We have the incredible Ted Jones coming to do a talk to our commercial agents about the market and what's going to be happening.
Dr. Ted C. Jones, the
Dr.
eighth
Ted C.
wonder in the real estate world, as I call him.
He is. He's definitely the eighth wonder.
He's unbelievable. Well, so if someone wants to reach out to you to be a part of that, and I might be there too, so let's tell people how they do that, Martha.
I am at 832-237-6996. That's 832-237-6996. And that's my cell. I keep it with me all the time, even on weekends.
That sounds good. Martha Palmer with Stewart Title in Champions.
Yeah, remember me as Martha Stewart because that's how people call me. Martha at Stewart.
Martha at Stewart, where you're singing We Are the Champions all the time. Thank you so much, Martha. Here comes Jana McGuire, also with Stewart Title, developing business in an incredible way, 24/7. Jana, welcome
Howdy.
How are you?
Good, doing good.
Well, let's tell people your office for Stewart Title is where?
In Clear Lake, and that is off Space Center Boulevard in Falcon Pass.
Right there by the NASA and all the space and everything else.
Yes, right there in the middle of Space Center.
You're bumping into astronauts all the time, I'm imagining.
Hey, I have run into them during lunchtime. So
is that
that's
right?
kind of cool. Mm-hmm.
Well,
I know some of the places they go, so I kind of.
Well, grab one and bring them on the show.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be very cool.
That way we can say business is taking off.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so in the meantime.
Give me a cool idea.
Well, be on the lookout now that you're there.
There
So in the meantime, let's tell people a little bit about your office right there in Clear Lake.
Yeah, so we have a couple of events coming up, and those are always fun. We have classes, and then we have a couple of happy hours coming available. And also we have a sip and stroll, so you can come and shop and do all the fun stuff, and that's November 1st. So we have that going, and I'm also doing a lot of one-on-ones. I'm trying to set up with realtors and talk one-on-one with them, take them to lunch, go have coffee, or if they don't want to do anything fancy, we can meet at my office or their office, wherever they're comfortable.
That sounds good, Jana. Yeah. Well, let's tell people how they can reach you.
So they can reach me on my phone number, and I do have my phone a lot during the weekends too, 832-244-3439, 832-244-3439, and my email is Jana, Jana, .McGuire@stewart.com.
Sounds good to me. Thank you so much, Jana, for being with us. And
Thanks for having me.
Let's bring back Tracy Henderson as we close the show. Now, Tracy, there was something I know you wanted to say, but we didn't get to it, so let's go.
I was busting at the seams. Okay, so I wanted to remind your audience, especially your realtors, of our upcoming networking breakfast. We meet once a month, the third Thursday. It's South Bay Area Realtor networking breakfast, and we utilize that opportunity to reach the realtors in our the South Bay Area, Galveston County market, and to inform them, to get them information, and we build relationships through networking.
That sounds good. Right there.
Yes.
Near Clear Lake, right?
It is. Well, it's actually in League City, at the League City Civic Center, and next Thursday, as a matter of fact, we're going to have a speaker.
How about that? That sounds good. Tracy, let's tell people how they can reach you. Your company is the Realty Partnership.
Yes, sir, and the number is 832-221-8128. 832-221-8128.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Thank you.
Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
And now Samantha Merritt is back. Samantha, welcome back to the show. As we close the show, what else do you want people to know?
I'm just looking forward to speaking to everyone. So give me a call. My phone number is 832-610-3841. Again, that's Gold Mountain Realty, and the number is 832-610-3841.
Sounds good to me. Thank you for being with us. And now, Tina Argueta with Keller Williams Professional. Well, Tina, it's you and me here closing this thing down. What else should we tell people?
Well, I want to tell people that I want to remind everyone that this is a great time to buy and sell. So I'm here for you. I'll be happy to help you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at 832-860-5399.
So you're helping buyers and sellers.
Yes, correct.
And is it a great time for buyers and sellers,
It
Tina?
is. It is. It is still a great time for everyone.
And another reason to tune in to Stewart.com/radio. Tina, one more time, your phone number is?
832-860-5399.
And that reason is because everybody here in the studio is smiling, including Tina. So I think that's a good reason to go to Stewart.com/radio. And we are approaching, I didn't mention this yet, but we'll be hearing more about it, 2 big milestones. Number one, our show is approaching show number 500. That's coming up in November, so we'll have a special show at that time. In addition, right here in the month of October, Stewart Title has a birthday. We are 130 years old. We don't look a day over 90. And by the way, we started right here in Galveston, Texas, Stewart Title. And now we are an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. That's right, an international company. I talked to one of our business development people in Australia once a few years ago on the phone, actually. So we are helping people all over, certainly here in the United States and beyond. But right here in Houston, Texas, we'd be honored to be stewards of your real estate transactions. Simply go to Stewart.com and find your closest business development officer. That's right. You could, if you're in the real estate world, you could find out about all the things they're doing that help you with your business. If you're a real estate professional, if you want to have your transaction closed at Stewart Title, and know that we're going to be around for another 130 years. We're not going to go away, so we have longevity. Just simply go to Stewart.com and find the closest office right here in Houston, Texas. I don't know, we have about 15, 16, 17 or so. And again, all around the United States, we'd be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. And again, just go to Stewart.com/radio where you can hear and see the show. And until next week, thank you all for listening, and we will see you soon.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.